Hello, hello, hello. Juliana Page here. I have an interesting word for you today. So I get the honor, the privilege of working with people in interesting times and seasons of their life. A lot of times it's in transition from one place to the next, and particularly leveling up, right? So how do they go from where they are to where they can see or where they want to be? And how do they become the person that has the capacity to sustain that or to steward it well? How do they close that gap? A lot can come up in that window. And a lot of times, this is all put under the word success. I just want to be successful. I just want to prosper. I just want to have abundance. I just want, right? So I'm going to talk about this, and specifically from a God perspective, meaning I'm going to take it to where it should have started from in the first place. So I'm going to share some power verses that really, I believe, well, they work for anyone because the word is tried and true, right? So this is these are 12 power verses that I use anytime I am in that place of knowing that a move is coming, knowing that there's a shift happening, knowing that we're going from strength to strength and from glory to glory, and that it's time to bridge that gap and I've got to start making moves. These are 12 power verses that I stand on. It's the truth that I stand under, that I build understanding around, right? So that I can prepare myself for that next place of promise. Okay. So I'm going to share these with you and I hope they will bless you. This is a great video to share with somebody else. If you've not subscribed to the channel, I also recommend that you do that as well. All right. So let's dive right in. Now, a lot of times we are our own worst critic. We get in our own way. We talk ourselves out of things. We overthink things. We literally kill them with our thoughts. We really get emotional about things. We get caught up in fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, and we just back ourselves off the exact place that we want to go to, right? So my proposition to you is that you've already seen that movie before. You already have seen what it looks like when you don't believe in yourself. You've already seen that. You've seen it come out as procrastination. You've seen it maybe turn into addiction. You've seen it turn into judgment and comparison and you've seen it not get you the results that you want, right? You've seen yourself circling the mountain several times until you get to the point where enough is enough, right? And you could stop a lot of that pain if you would just start believing in yourself and putting these words into practice, okay? So let's give this a shot today, shall we? All right, so what I mean by that is you need to become a person of personal power. Your becoming that has nothing to do with anybody else. Nobody else can do that for you, but it will have everything to do with your impact and the territory and the expansion and the freedom that you step into, okay? All right, so let's talk about how you can come into position and occupy that next place, all right? Number one, and I recommend that you actually write these guys down, okay? So the first place I'm going to go is Jeremiah 1:5. Jeremiah 1:5. I'm in Isaiah. I'm close. All right, Jeremiah 1:5. Ready? Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you and approved of you as my chosen instrument. Wow. And before you were born, I separated and set you apart, consecrating you, and I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. Hang on. That means if God approved you, you don't need anyone's approval, okay? But what that really means, because I like going deep in the word and making it real and practical to myself. So how I interpreted that is that for this to be real for you, you've got to get back to the truth of who you are, the truth of who God formed you in the womb to be. God literally was rejoicing over you, singing over you, prophesying over you as he formed you. He anointed you. He ordained you. He shaped you, right? For such a time as this, to be on the earth at this time, to be unique and special in some kind of way, to walk out a specific calling. It is not random. He formed you, right? He was very detailed. God is a God of detail and order. Everything about him forming you mattered, okay? So you are not needing the approval of anybody else. God approved you. So you've got that God approved stamp of approval, okay? But you've got to go back and get back to the truth of who you are at your core, okay? Before the world told you who to be, before you had to pick a major, before you became a Mrs. or a Mr., before you had kids, before you had that job title, before all that, who were you at your core when God formed you, right? What were those really specific things that you were passionate about as a child, right? What were they? Was it writing? Was it a love for animals? Was it singing? Was it acting? What did you do as a child before anybody told you otherwise that you needed to do something different? Who were you? What were you passionate about? What did you run to? What did you love? Right? Unless we become like children, we can't enter the kingdom. So that innocence before the hurts, before the pains, before the shock, before the betrayals, before the abandonments, before the unforgiveness, before all that, who were you before you started putting all the walls up? Get back to who you are. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. I approved of you as my chosen instrument. You're a chosen instrument. Who is that? It's time to get back to the truth of who you are. You've got to have this strong sense of identity, not an identity that can be manipulated or easily offended or shaken by something that happens outside of you, but an identity that is strong and rooted from the core. You know who you are. You know who you've been put on this earth to be. You know that you're a chosen instrument and you walk like it, not with cockiness, but confidence. You're in position. And a lot of times that doesn't even speak. You can just feel that. Okay. So you've got to get back to that strong sense and knowing that conviction of you know who you are. You know who God's called you to be. Get back to that. Okay. So that's the first one. All right. Number two is Romans 8:28. So let me get to that. Romans 8:28. Holy Moses. Where is Romans? Come on, Romans. Close. It's in here. All right. Romans. What did I just tell you? 8. Romans 8:28. All right. Romans 8:28. Perfecto. Nope. One more. Okay. Romans 8:28. We are assured and know that God being a partner in their labor, all things work to good and are fitting into a plan for good to and for those who love God and are called according to his design and purpose. Whew! That was a word. So let me get back to that. We are assured. We're assured. We're affirmed. We're reminded. We're confirmed. We're encouraged. We're inspired. We are assured and know that God being a partner in their labor. So God is a co-laborer with you. There's things that are yours to do and there's things that are only God's to do, okay? So he's partnering with you. And if you want anyone backing you, you want God backing you. All things work together and are fitting into a plan. All things, not some, not just work or not maybe just your kids, but all things work together and are fitting into a plan for good to and for those who love God. Who love God, not those who love themselves, those who love God and are called according to his design and purpose, not their design and purpose, his design and purpose. Okay. So this is loaded and you've got to read the word in the right context. Side note, but we're assured. We know God is partnering with us. We know that he's working. Even when I can't see it, he's working, right? Even when I don't feel it, he's working. He never stops working, right? So he's working all things together into his grand plan, not your plan, his plan and purpose. So it's not always going to look like what you think or feel it's supposed to look like, okay? But he's working it together. So that's really, really important. That's Romans 8:28. And I'm reading these all right now from an amplified version, okay? But I love the Message. I love the Passion Translation. I'm a King James girl too. So explore. You can even do a Google and just look at all of the different verses and get them all and see which one speaks to you. But it's important that you let it absorb in your spirit. You let it marinate, okay? So this is all about committing to the process of preparation that God has for you so that you can be launched into promise, okay? So you've got to understand that it's God's design and his purpose. So you've got to commit to his design and his purpose. So what are things that he's leading you to do? What are those? Seek him early, seek him diligently, to guard your heart, to let the words of your mouth and the meditation of your heart be good and pleasing in his sight, to flee from sin and any unholy or evil thing, to hate what is evil, to love what is good. What is it that God is requiring of you? How is he leading you personally? Because it's not going to look the same for everybody, right? With power, there's more responsibility, right? There's a greater need of having an ability to respond, okay? So what is he calling you to do? What is his design? What is his purpose? What are the steps that he's asking you to take so that you can be fully committed, fully invested in, fully present in the process of preparation that he has for you? Your process is never going to match somebody else's. So comparing yourself to how somebody's got there and how they made their way, God's ways are not our ways and God's thoughts are not our thoughts. So you've got to seek the source, right? He's the one that's co-laboring with you and partnering with you, and it's his design and his purpose. So if there's anyone you want to start brainstorming with, it's right here. All right. So that is Romans 8:28. All things work together. So this also lets you know that if it doesn't look like things are working together, if your circumstances aren't matching what you know, what you've received in your spirit, the prophetic words, the revelation, the downloads from God, if your life is not looking victorious, God's not done yet, right? So don't go by what it looks like. Go by what you know, all right? Stand on this verse. Stand on this verse. All right. Number three. All right, we are going to, I'm in Proverbs right now, so that's why that's there. Psalm 37. Oop, I'm close. Psalm 35, 37. All right, Psalm 37, 4. This is number 3. Number 3. Psalm 37, 4. Oop, I went too far. You're going to remember this one. Okay. Delight. All right. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and he will give you the desires and secret petitions of your heart. That one is one of my faves. Now, I want to read the one before that because I think it's relevant. Trust, lean on, rely on, and be confident in the Lord. Not in yourself, not in man, because man will fail you. Not in your job, not in anything else. Trust, which means lean on, rely on, and be confident in the Lord, and do good. So shall you dwell in the land, feed surely on his faithfulness, and truly you shall be fed. Okay, so that's connected to delight yourself also. Like here's what you should be doing, right? Trust in the Lord and do good, right? So this is sort of a prereq, but they go together. Delight yourself also in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart and secret petitions of your heart. So as you're trusting in, leaning on, relying on, and being confident in the Lord and doing good, which is what you're led to do by the Spirit, right? Because there's good things, there's God things. That is how you're actually delighting yourself in the Lord. The more you trust God, the more trustworthy he's showing up. The more you're leaning on him, the more faithful you see that he is. The more that you're being confident in him, the more you're aware of his goodness in all things, in and through all things. So that is how you're dwelling in it. And you start to delight in that. You start to delight in the fact that you don't have to have it all figured out. You start to delight in the fact that you don't have to be a control freak. You start to delight in the fact that even though it doesn't look like it's working, he's working, and he's working it all for good. And he will give you the desires, and not only just your desires, because when you're doing that, he's changing what you desire. Okay. But also these secret petitions of your heart. So maybe even those things when you were a child, before you knew to any different, right? Secret petitions of your heart. You haven't even voiced them to anybody else, your best friend, your partner, whatever. You've not even spoken these out. These secret petitions that you have in your quiet time with God, he will give you those. Okay. So the key word here though is delight yourself in the Lord. This really means don't fret, don't worry, don't get anxious, don't get caught up in things really that aren't your business. Make sure that you're not putting your faith in those things or letting those things become idols. Keep God in the right place and delight in him, and he's going to work that stuff out for you. Okay. That's number 3. All right. Number 4. Dun, dun, dun. Woo. Matthew. Come on. I'm in Mark. Matthew 7:7. Matthew 7:7. Whoop. 12. I'm close. Hotter. 7. All right. Matthew 7. A lot of extra in here. Okay. All right. 7:7. All right. Keep on asking. Oh, yeah. And it will be given you. Keep on seeking and you will find. Keep on knocking reverently and the door will be open to you. Dude, I'm going to definitely write all over this again. This is one that is huge because we are not in a microwave generation. We're not in a quick fix generation. We're not in get rich quick, any fast thing. No, keep on asking. That means it's probably not going to happen the first time you ask, and it will be given you. Keep on seeking. So there's some efforts, and you will find. Keep on knocking reverently, right? And the door will be open to you. Not might be, will be open to you. So when you look at Matthew 7:7, ask, seek, knock, really, I believe that this is, and I know this to be true, in different seasons, it's, do you have staying power? Do you have staying power? Do you trust God? Do you believe God? Are you going to get caught up in your circumstances? Are you going to pass the test? Are you going to keep a good attitude? Are you going to murmur? Are you going to complain? Are you going to point to what's not working? Are you going to get all agitated? What are you going to do? Are you going to keep asking? Are you a fighter? Are you committed to destiny? Do you have any staying power? Do your words and your actions match your faith? Just saying. Keep on asking. You got to have some persistence. So this is really the same thing as you got to make some of your own moves, and you got to keep making them. When no one's clapping for you, all of the work behind the scenes, keeping your foundation, walking in righteousness, staying true, focusing on whatsoever is lovely, noble, pure, right? Doing these things because it matters to you, and keeping your heart pure, keeping your mind renewed, right? Keeping your faith high. These are a big deal when you want to be positioned for supernatural success. I know where my help comes from. Do you? Just saying. Okay. Number 5. We are moving and grooving. Oh my goodness. Da-na-na. Come on. Almost there. James. All right. James 2:26. All right, 2:26. For as the human body apart from the spirit is lifeless, that's a word, so faith apart from its works of obedience is dead. D-E-A-D, dead. All right. So as the body without the spirit is dead, faith without works is also dead. So basically the life force, the energy, the vibrancy that you have, right? Spirit-led living. Now, right, it even says God will restore your youthfulness, right? So here's the thing. If you're not taking action on your faith, can you be trusted? I don't know. I'm going to go with no. So faith without obedient actions to back it up, to really demonstrate that your faith is good, that you cash out, right? It's not just, nothing, empty words, empty promises. You've got to see action and consistent action to back that up. Okay. So that one speaks for itself, I would say. All right. So this next one, this one is so good. This one is so good. All right. Habakkuk. Come on. I am almost there. All right. Habakkuk, write the vision and make it plain. I want to see if this one has the version that I'm after or not, because it's really important to get to the right one to really back it up for you. Let me see. Write the vision and make it plain is like the general gist, but I want to see, sometimes again, they have more words here that make it like, let me see. Whoop, I keep passing it. Sorry, guys. It's right here by Zechariah. Kind of. Micah. Also a good book. Come on. Help. I keep passing it, guys. My fingers. All right, Habakkuk, we made it. 2-2. 2-2. Okay. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and engrave it. Engrave it. When you engrave, whenever you've like done that on a rock or on wood, with your loved one, when you engrave it, there's a lot of effort. You do it many times. Like you make an imprint, right? Write it so plainly upon tablets. Tablets are really hard to write on. I don't know if you tried that. That everyone who passes by may be able to read it. That means you've really got to engrave it, right? And easily and quickly as he hastens by. So if you were to engrave the vision on stones, right? Like really get it in there, anyone that passes by should be able to see it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, and it hastens to the end, fulfillment. It will not deceive or disappoint. Though it tarry, wait earnestly for it, because it will surely come. It will not be behind hand. Oh, interesting. On its appointed day. All right, so write the vision, make it plain, engrave it so plainly that anyone who passes by may be able to see it and read it quickly as they hasten by, okay? So that's telling me that you've got to be really specific about what you want. And when you're asking, seeking, knocking, you're doing that with this vision in mind and being really specific. Like, is there a job at a specific company that you want? Is there a certain favor that you're after, right? What does it look like? What is that? And be so clear when you're asking. Okay. Man, we're going back to Proverbs. Whoop. All right. This is number 7. I'm in Proverbs. All right. 29. 29. I hope you guys are writing these down because I'm going somewhat fast. Okay. Proverbs 29:18. 29:18. Where there is no vision, this goes well with Habakkuk, doesn't it? Where there is no vision, no redemptive revelation of God. Whew, man, that's just straight up struggle right there. The people perish. Enough said. But he who keeps the law of God, which includes that of man, you got to honor and respect authority. Blessed, happy, fortunate, and enviable is he. Where there's no vision, no redemptive revelation of God, no prophecy, no spirits, downloads, right? No spirit-led living, the people perish, okay? So We need this daily bread. We need to feed on it daily. We need redemptive revelation of God. We need a mind shift. We need deliverance from habits and maybe some people and things that are not for us, right? That we can't do on our own. And that process of transformation happens when you're spending time with God, when you're getting washed in the water of the word and you're feeding on the meat of some of these verses that are convicting you and that are changing you and that are getting into your spirit and they're building you up, just like a muscle that you would work out. This is building you up. So the answer to this and to getting vision, if you don't feel like your vision is plain, is spending time with God. Because remember, he formed you. Before you were born, he formed you. Like he knew exactly what he was singing over you. He developed you. He created you. He wrote his purpose and his plan for your life. It is not random. It is specific. It is detailed. It's got divine timing, perfect timing, right? So when you don't feel like you have that vision, it could be because you haven't been spending time with God. You haven't been getting that redemptive revelation. And that's something that's really personal. There's people that you can listen to and receive from, but you've also got to be in the word and having personal one-on-one experience with God for yourself. So that one is huge. You've got to have prophetic insight. So much of navigating and living a spirit-led life is having this redemptive revelation. It's getting a word from God. It's having that word confirmed by his word, right? It's so, so powerful. People might call that intuition, but it's different. Okay. All right. Next one. We're going to go to... we're going to stay in Proverbs. Proverbs 16. This is number 8. Proverbs 16. Proverbs 16. All right. We have arrived. Maybe. Nope. Still in 15. Okay. Proverbs 16. Where am I at? 3. Roll your works upon the Lord. Commit and trust them wholly to him. He will cause your thoughts to become agreeable to his will. This is how he's changing your desires, right? And so shall your plans be established and succeed. Wow. Hopefully you heard that. Let me just say that again. Roll your works upon the Lord. Commit and trust them wholly to him. Not like I'm in sometimes and then I'm out the rest and like, we like dance around it. No. Commit and trust them wholly to him. There's no like back and forth. It's like, that's it. Okay. He will cause your thoughts to become agreeable to his will. So he'll renew your mind. He'll renew a right spirit in you. He'll create in you a pure, clean heart. And he'll establish your plans and cause them to succeed. So unless the Lord builds a house, it will not stand, right? So you might as well just roll whatever you've got going on onto him. Otherwise, you're going to labor in vain. And it only takes maybe 1 or 2 times to figure out that that's not a fun process. Laboring in vain? Nah, man. All right. So that was Proverbs 16:3. Commit your works unto the Lord. So that's the best thing to do. I do that anytime I'm writing a book. Lord, this is your book. If I'm launching a course, Lord, this is your course. If I'm helping people on like a health and fitness journey, Lord, get me out of the way and just let your purpose and plan prevail. Like use me to bless this person. Just literally getting out of the way so that God can have full access and just have his way. Okay, so that's number 8. Number 9. We're going back to Matthew. Okay, we're close. Matthew 6:33. Matthew 6:33. But seek him and strive after. Woo! Okay. Seek him and strive after, first of all, his kingdom and his righteousness, which is his way of doing and being right. And then all these things taken together will be given you besides. Okay. So, wow. This is really the serenity prayer in action. But seek, which is aim at, strive after. So your focus is fixed on keeping the main thing, okay? And you're striving after that. Just that you would strive and you would hustle in the world, you switch that hustle and you put it here. If you know that God is the source, if you know that God is the answer to everything that you need, then you'll take this manual seriously, okay? So, but seek at, aim at, and strive after, first of all, his kingdom and his righteousness, which is his way of doing and being right. And if you don't know what that is, ask and keep asking, seek and keep seeking, knock and keep knocking, and he'll reveal that to you. He'll give you this redemptive revelation, right? The word will become alive and active to you. And then all these things taken together will be given to you. Okay, so that's telling me that God has no problem making your name great, making you well known, giving you a platform, blessing you, causing you to thrive, not just survive. His aim is to bless you. It does him no good to have you living like an orphan or caught up in poverty thinking and struggling and in pain. No. He wants you to be blessed and to prosper even as your soul prospers, right? But we've got to learn to live according to his word. Yeah. Okay. So there's that. Seek the kingdom first. Just start there. All right. Number 10. Philippians. Going to the back of the word. Philippians. New Testament. Let's get it. All right. Holy moly. I'm like, this Bible flips through my fingers so fast, man. All right. Philippians, or maybe I'm just too fast. I don't know. Hebrews. Philemon. Come on. There it is. All right. Philippians 4:6. 4:6. I'm in 2. Okay. 3, 4. 4 and 6. This one gets cut off. All right. Do not fret. Well, we would just be saved a lot if we just did that. Do not fret or have any anxiety about anything. Okay. But in every circumstance and in everything, by prayer and petition, definite requests. Not like, please, God, I beg you. No. Definite requests. With thanksgiving. Continue to make your wants known to God. So God wants to hear about your wants and what your needs are. So I wrote, while co-laboring with God, this devotional, God's Vibes Matter devotional. There you go. You can kind of see it. Da-da-da. So there is something in here. That's an example of part of what you're going to get. So it's basically starting your day praising, right? And giving thanksgiving. Start there. Then you can repent of any way that you've gotten out of alignment with God. And you could release different things. You've got some cares to cast or things that you're going to trust God with, and you can repent for not trusting God. And then you can ask God for the prayers and secret petitions, your wants, your needs. He already knows what you have need of before you ask. And then you can yield and you can live as if what God said is true and act accordingly. So I made this into a devotional because it was what I had to train myself to do. That was something that was really foreign to me. And I didn't get it. So this is so good. Do not fret. I was one of those people that was a worry wart. That was something that I was trained in. That was something that I knew how to do. I am very visionary and very creative, but I can future trip where I'm getting anxious or fretting about if things don't go according to this plan, what's going to happen, right? Well, it might not. If it's not God's plan, it's not going to go according to your plan. So do not fret or have any anxiety about anything. So the minute I'm starting to feel that, where it's like, right? You can't breathe. You're starting to trip out, right? I go back to that devotional and I remember what to do here. By prayer and petition, give definite requests with thanksgiving. Continue to make your request known to God, right? So be definite about what you're asking God. Ask for what you have need of. Come boldly with confidence to him. He's your Father. He's your provider. He cares for you. He loves you. Come boldly, okay? And let him shift anything that's gotten out of alignment. So that one is so huge. That's number 10 for us, Philippians 4, okay? So it's really the enemy that wants you to focus on how far you've fallen, how things are never going to work for you, focusing on your weaknesses, focusing on how you've fallen short, focusing on things that are just not going well. That's why you're not supposed to fret or have any anxiety, because it doesn't take much to get your focus on the wrong things and go down a whole rabbit hole that you don't need to go down. Okay. Number 11. We're going back to Proverbs. Whoop. All right. Proverbs 23. All right. Proverbs 23, 7. Woof. This one is so deep. Okay. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Enough said. As one who reckons, he says to you, eat and drink, yet his heart is not with you, but is grudging the cost. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. So that's telling me that belief is huge. Faith is huge. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. So God loves it when we have big faith. And that's coming from Hebrews too. Let me just jump to that. You're getting a bonus verse. You're welcome. Okay. Hebrews, I think it's 11. What's the address? Hebrews, I'm going to go with 11. Come on, be 11. Okay. Yes, let me just give you the snippet. Okay. Now, faith is the assurance. We need that. The confirmation, the title deed of the things we hope for, being the proof of things we do not see, and the conviction of their reality. Faith perceiving as real fact what is not revealed to the senses. So I know it to be true in my spirit, even though nothing in the physical is giving me any evidence that that's true. Okay. For by faith, trust, holy fervor, born of faith, right? Supernatural faith, God faith. The men of old had divine testimony born to them and obtained a good report. By faith, we understand that the worlds during the successive ages were framed, fashioned, put in order, and equipped for their intended purpose, just like you, by the word of God, so that what we see was not made out of things which are visible. Man, okay. So keep going. The verse that I actually want to tell you, just letting you know again what faith is this one. Number 6, okay? But without faith, it is impossible to please and be satisfactory to him. For whoever would come near to God must necessarily believe that God exists and that he is the rewarder of those who earnestly and diligently seek him out. Not casual. Nah. Earnestly and diligently seek him out. Just like if you were going to go get that drug that you run after, or that bad habit, that candy, that chocolate, whatever that is, that whatever your guilty pleasure is. Just like you would go earnestly and diligently seek that out, seek him out and see what happens. Okay? But without faith, it's impossible to please him. So getting back to my verse. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So basically what this is, according to what you really believe in your heart, is going to be the outward manifestation. So for example, you could get a really awesome prophetic word. You could get this redemptive revelation from God. You could have all of these signs happening and you could still be like, I hope so. We'll see. Which is really saying that you actually believe and think in your heart, doubt, fear. You have more faith in fear and doubt and insecurity and lack of confidence and distrust than you do in faith and actually believing God and believing his word and what he says is true. Okay. So you need your heart posture to be right. You need it to be right and powerfully positioned, because how could you ever sustain the next place that God has for you if you're shaky? If you're shaky ground, right? Like if you just are like tossed to and fro like this, right? You've got to have active faith, positioned faith, fervent faith, diligent, earnest faith. You've got to be powerfully positioned. So this is probably the main key that you need. You need your heart posture, your mindset, your attitude, your emotional stability. You need that to be strong. Even when you don't see it, you're strong. Even when something comes and tests you, you're strong. Even when your mind is trying to convince you otherwise, you rebuke it. Even when you're starting to feel the anxiety come up, you're making your declarations. You're standing on the word. Okay? So you're putting your faith in kingdom thoughts to work. You're believing for more and you're building your faith. And again, you're doing that by spending more time in the word and with God, because the more time you spend in the world with the world and doing those things, the more you're going to look like that and just be copycatting that. The more you spend here is when you're going to get fresh Rhema, a revelatory word, redemptive word, prophetic words, creativity, flow, inspiro, like inspired action, right? Just saying. All right. Here's a bonus word. God's blessing makes rich and adds no sorrow with it. That's the kind of blessing that you want. Okay. That wasn't where I was going, but that's a good word. All right. Now, that was number 10. Nope, that was 11. That was 11. Okay. And then finally, we are going to Deuteronomy. Oh my gosh, this makes me, has anyone ever seen the musical Cats? Has nothing to do with the Bible, but Deuteronomy makes me think of that. Random. All right. So this last one, Deuteronomy 8:18. What am I on? Deuteronomy 8:20. 8:18. 8:18. That's 9. Okay. Yes, here we go. But you shall earnestly remember. Earnestly is a strong word in the word. All right. But you shall earnestly remember the Lord your God, for it is He. Who? God. All right. Who gives you the power? What does He give you? Power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant, which He swore to your fathers, as it is this day. So, remember the Lord, for it is He that gives you the power to get wealth, right? So, He's going to give you power to influence for His kingdom and for His glory. And it's by His power and for His glory. So when He knows that you know that Him blessing you isn't about you and your greatness and how awesome you are, but it's about Him and the kingdom, then He has no problem giving you these things, because He wants to bless you so that you can multiply and advance the kingdom, right? So keep that in mind. But these are all ways that you can develop your confidence, that you can really weigh what your responsibilities are and where you should be focusing, and how you can powerfully position yourself for supernatural success, because God does it. God does it, but He's expecting you to do your part too. There's a co-labor happening. So what is your work? Seeking the kingdom, renewing your mind, renewing a right spirit, making sure you're in the right spirit, repenting when you're not, getting back on track, taking steps of faith and obedience, right? Trusting in the Lord, doing good, acknowledging Him, casting your cares upon Him when they come up, standing in faith, declaring these words, right? Keeping your armor on, walking worthy, walking in confidence, standing assured and solid in your identity, knowing what your authority is, knowing when to respond and when not to, right? Knowing when to take action and when not to. All of this is a process, and it's always different. This will work in any level that you're going to, but it's going to look very different, right? Because you're up against different warfare. You're up against different thoughts. You're up against different challenges. You're up against different things. So this will work if you work it. And we're talking about positioning yourself for supernatural success. So God wants you to be successful, but He doesn't want it to crush you. He doesn't want it to burden you. He doesn't want it to destroy you. And it could, if you're after it for the wrong reasons, or if your heart's not right, if you're not consistent, if you're not powerfully positioned, it could get messy real quick. And God's not about that. So I hope this was helpful. It is something that I go to and I write down these verses, and then I even turn them in index cards, and I'm declaring them until they're in memory, and I can call on them when I need it, or when that thought's coming to freak you out, then you can actually declare it. So powerful. So I encourage you to actually go back, write down all of those verses, and make them real for you. Find the version of the word that makes sense and make those real for you, and work the word. Work the word. Do you believe it? Are you speaking it? Are you prophesying it over your life? When a fear comes, are you partnering and agreeing with fear? Are you partnering and agreeing with the word? Who are you spending more time like? How are you positioning yourself? This is a self-check. This is being personally responsible for your faith walk, for the results that you are getting or not getting in your life, for the example, for the impact, the influence that you have, and for the gift that you carry. the calling that's on your life. Stewarding well what you've given is a big deal, and it's not to be taken lightly, right? The Lord is talking in his word. Earnestly and diligently seek him. He will guide and establish your steps. He will give you wisdom. You can ask for it. You can claim it. You can walk in it, right? Proverbs, start there too. Proverbs. So many good ones, but I hope these 12 verses are really strong and really powerful for you. To really, maybe it's confirmation for you, maybe it's a wake up for you, but I hope that you will put them into practice. And if somebody you know needs to hear this word in a time and a season where they've been shaking a little bit, bless them. Copy the link on this video and share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, subscribe so that you can catch new videos as they come out. All right. Until next time, guys, stay blessed. Bye.